This is our third session together in this series of interviews that we're doing, and I've heard you say multiple times, you've used the word the quantum field. And I gotta tell you, in my mind, I imagine some sort of a field of energy and quantum fruits coming out of trees. I don't really know what the quantum field is, and I really appreciate it if you could shed some light on what is this quantum field that we're using, and how do you really apply it in quantum mind medicine?
Take the brightest brains in the world today, from everywhere, and when you talk to them about the quantum field, they all will say to you this thing. Well, that's the most complicated thing to explain, and that's the most complicated thing to comprehend. And I totally agree with them. Because as earthly humans, we try to describe the undescribable. The undescribable. Therefore, what I'm going to do is describe it in earthly description, action. And then once you describe it in an earthly description, then you can apply it to the quantum field from that understanding. So what would be the field that would be parallel to the quantum field? So let's take the ocean. The ocean is transparent. And if you look at the ocean, what will be more pronounced as far as energy goes? The water, or the fish, or the elements, mountains and depths and the rest of it, or the sand? What will be more pronounced as, what will be more powerful?
Probably the water.
The water. The water is the field of the ocean. It's the field of the ocean. It's transparent. If you put it in a cup, you're not going to see it. So it's like it's not there. However, it carries a lot of information and energy in it. Motion the water, and you'll get the most powerful energy on earth. Water is the most powerful energy on earth. So, and through that media of water, which is the quantum field of the ocean, of the sea, the ocean, energy, information travels. Sound, scent, smell, electric sensation, taste, everything is within that field. So the communication within the water of all its inhabitants is through the water. Now try to take the fish out of the water, see what happened. You took him out of this quantum field, within a very short time he'll perish. Now you can say to me, okay, what about the dolphin? If I take the dolphin out, he can breathe. Yeah, he can breathe. But he cannot use the other elements, therefore he will die out of the water, even though he can breathe. Because the breathing is only one aspect of his existence. Therefore, he needs to go back to his quantum field. Every once in a while peek out to get some air, which is different for his existence. It's one thing of his existence. And then he goes back to the sea of information, the quantum field of the ocean. That's the quantum field of space. So in space, you have its inhabitants. It can be planets, stars. It can be us within a star or within a planet. And that's where we are floating in. That's an immense, undescribable sea of information and energy. That's a quantum field. So when you put it to that analogy between the sea and the space, which is the quantum field, then it gives you a little bit grasp as how it looks, how it feels, and what it contains. The quantum field in the ocean, the water, contains all the information for the existence of all the mountains within it, all the crevices within it, all the fish and all the other creatures within the sea. Anything they need they get from that water and its inhabitants. Another thing which is very important, what is the most vast again? The water, vast. The water, which is the information and the energy, or the inhabitants, or the elements. Then again, it will be the water. Now, if you go to an Olympic pool, the diving boards, and you climb to the 10-meter diving board, when you look down, if you look down, you will see that on the water they are sprinkled. They're sprinkling the water. Do you know why?
To make the water look like, maybe to just show the water where the...
To make the water appear. Because if you don't sprinkle it and it's stand, the diver cannot see the water because the water is transparent. It happens many times that people jumping into pools where there are no water in the pool. It looks almost the same with water and not when it's still, because water is transparent. You can see through that very clearly. Space, it's transparent, but it exists. Its energy and information exists. Water is transparent, and its energy and information exist. And that's a little bit easier on the mind of human beings to see the analogy between the two things.
It's interesting because we are, I would say, the biggest part of our body is water as well.
So when you're looking human body, let's look at Earth. You look at Earth, it's about 70 to 75% water on the surface of Earth. And then we think that there is a lot of water, and under it there is a lot of water, up to a point. When you're looking at the human cell, it's mostly water, and then the nucleus. And then that cell, which is mostly water, becomes, with multiple cells, it becomes a tissue, which is mostly water. That tissue becomes a part, which is mostly water. That part becomes a system, which is mostly water. That system becomes a human being, which is mostly water. So that energy and information in parallel to the universe is the same. The universe, the multiverse, is mostly energy and information. The human body is mostly energy and information. And you can see that because of various reasons, which we're not going to get into that. But you see that because it's condensed light, or condensed energy that you can see. So you can see each other and you can experience with that incredible tool that called our body. We are not our bodies. Again, that's not the point, but that's the case. So our body is an example of our Earth, which is an example of the universe and the multiverse and the multiverse, the cosmos. That's how we are.
So how would you put this? How would you put it all together in relationship with your quantum mind medicine? Okay, I understand that there's a quantum field, and I understand that I'm like a fish trying to describe the water. I cannot describe the water because I'm in it and it's part of me, so I can't really see it, but it's there. But what is it to do with quantum mind medicine?
It's a very good question. So if you take the fish in the sea, again, it will be a good analogy, and this fish has all his senses, incredible senses, to survive in this sea, and then to thrive in the sea. So he can hunt, he can mate, he can have fun in the sea, and they have fun in the sea, to play together. And then, if you take him and you imperil it, his bodily receptors, his hearing, his see, his sight, his taste, his smell in the water, if you impair that a little bit, then his existence will not be his full potential. His quantum mind, even the fish has a quantum mind, because you have to translate the quantum information, energy, from the water, which is his space in cosmos. And if you impair that a little bit or much, then there are a few things happening. One, it cannot potentiate itself, and then it becomes vulnerable to its environment and it can be eaten. So when you put it into human beings, and you're talking about the quantum mind, if our mind impaired or blocked for any reason, from our emotional state, from our behavior, from the food and chemicals we put into our body, from our interpretation of the world, if you impair that great brain that we have, its quantum side that can run every second trillions of trillions cells coordinated beautifully within you to your outside world, if you impair that, then disease start being part of you slowly, slowly or fast, and you're not coming to your potentiation. You start actually spending a lot of time on repairing yourself, to come to a certain level of existence that you can try to enjoy life. And most of the people that are ill, sick, they are managed within their diseases and illnesses. However, they're never going to try to the next point of their life, because from that point of illness and disease, they will have to compromise to the next level, down one level, down half a level. And after that, again and again and again. So not just they're not potentiating, they're going down and down, because their quantum being mind, through their body and senses, cannot get all the information they want and then absorb it, relay it, translate it, and bring it into action in their life. So in quantum mind medicine, you actually help the person to come to his potentiality rather than to run him or deal with him within his sickness or illness. You're not managing him in illness. You are getting him out of there, back to its real potential, real possibilities. And that's a totally different game in the health field, in the wellness field. That's a big difference.
I see. You mentioned before something, I'd like to go back to that. People, if you take a fish and you block some of its senses, so basically what you're doing is you're blocking its quantum mind, and the fish becomes sick and vulnerable, and you can die. Human beings are the same. What happened to people? What happens to people? What are we doing to ourselves that causes us to get sick, and then obviously go to the modern medicine facilities and try to get help? But we forgot that we blocked our quantum mind.
It all starts with awareness. It all starts with the game of awareness and consciousness, where consciousness is the potential energy and information, in potential, which you're not reaching it yet. Awareness is the point in your life that you're aware to your life circumstances, environment, and inside of yourself. And when you say, okay, I got to that level, that's not enough, what is the next consciousness level of mine that from there I'm going to soar more and more and be aware more and more? So when you said that, you find the path to your next consciousness level, which is again information and energy and potential. And you decode it. And when you decode it, you become aware to that information, and you leap yourself to your next level. When you leap yourself to the next level, you become more aware of your environment, more aware of yourself, and how to deal with yourself within the quantum field. So if you are a sleepy fish, you'll be devoured. If you're awake fish, you'll be okay. If you'll be super awake fish, nobody will touch you and you will eat everybody else. Not eat, but participate in the game of life in a very successful manner. When you take very successful people in business, in leadership, in anything that they succeed, they are 1 to 10 steps ahead of everybody, because they're so much aware that they're always going to the next level of consciousness, which brings them more information to be more aware, more keen, more involved, and more controlling the environment rather than the environment controls them. They're more controlling of their body instead of their body controlling them. So it's more you are able to connect yourself to the quantum field through your quantum mind, the more aware you become, the more your consciousness level is higher, or climbing, or leaping, and you become actually a superman, superwoman. Humanity, most of it is asleep, working on 95% on automatic system, automatic programs, religions, militaries, teachers, parents, that they are programmed themselves before, over and over again, to be actually asleep and be awake asleep, or sleepwalking actually, and react to the world instead of creating reaction from the world to you. That's the biggest difference. Once your quantum mind is clear, brave, curious, hungry, wants to know, wants to advance, it brings you to your next conscious level, and then your awareness goes up. And it goes again to the next consciousness level, and then your awareness goes up again. And you become superhuman. And now we're doing that. We are aware now that we are not aware. And in that way, we bring ourselves to our next conscious level, and the next awareness.
Okay, so that leads me to my next question, and probably the last question of this interview. You're describing a field that's we can't see. It's around us. It's transparent. There's a field of information.
Yeah.
Some sort of information. You repeat that word, information. What is that information that it brings with the consciousness? And it seems like some people have access to that information. Some people don't have access to that information yet. I don't know. To describe that a little bit.
All our life, everything, every aspect in our life is exchange of information. Everything. When you look outside the outside world, your environment is information that is being received by ears, eyes, nose, mouth, and your skin. Information that comes in, being translated by a quantum mind, and then brings you to an action, or your inside body, like your internal parts and your cells and everything else, to a certain action, to do a few things. First of all, to survive, to run your systems, and to thrive. So, what is this information? Everything out there is information. Now, your body exchanges information all the time. So, it starts from cell to cell information. Cell to cell. And then it goes from cell to multiple cells of information. And then from multiple cells of information, go again to multiple cells of tissue. They're exchanging information. Once your cells exchanging information correctly, your tissue is exchanging information correctly. Once your tissue exchanging information correctly, your body parts exchanging information correctly. Once your body part exchanging information correctly, your system is running according to very precise information. Once that happens, you as a human being running correctly as a walking machine of information that interact with vast field of information, which is the quantum field. As more keen you are, as more one of your cells working correctly with the next one, and the next one, the next one, that's how you become more and more Superman, Superwoman, with interacting with the field of information, which is the quantum field, that have everything to offer you, waiting for you to climb to your next consciousness level to become aware, and then comes to your next consciousness level to become more aware, to take you to the next leap, and the next leap, and the next leap of your existence, interacting with that field.
That's how people come to realizations of inventions. That's how people invent things. You're saying it's not really, the information is out there, they just access it?
Everything is existing in the world from now to eternity, is there already. Now, your awareness, now I didn't see your consciousness level, your awareness will bring you to the question is to what next. That will be your next consciousness level that is already waiting for you. Once you're aware of that, you will come to that. Once you come to that, you'll become aware of it. Once you're aware of it, you'll come to the next consciousness level, which is information, which is the car, the bike, the bicycle, the car, the motorbike, the plane, the space shuttle. Next. The wire phone with the two cups. To the next phone, to the next phone, to the next phone, to the amazing phones we have today, cell phones. So everything is there, but where is your awareness? So if you went to the caveman and you said to him, okay, the cell phone is waiting for you, is because it's only the level that the next thing can make is take a stick and make it to a tool. That's his next conscious level. And then it's awareness, and then he said, that's not enough. What is the next tool I have? And then he finds a hammer, and he creates a hammer. And then he creates an arrow, and then he creates a cloth, and then. Awareness, consciousness level, awareness, consciousness level. The consciousness levels are all in existence at all times for eternity, and were for eternity before. So, as more we develop our quantum mind, as less interferences we have within our quantum mind, the fastest we do the leaps between one conscious level to the next. And humanity, in the last 300 years, did such leaps in comparison to the last 2,000 years, 3,000 years. Amazing. Because the awareness level went up, and then the consciousness level, and awareness. And we study more. And we're developing our quantum mind in studying. We're developing our pathways in such a way that brings our brain chemistry, our brain ability to its next level. It's the same brain, just developing more and more and more. It actually, let's put it this way. It's the same brain, but the pathways in it are becoming clearer and clearer, faster and faster, and we are leaping from one conscious level to the next very fast. So when we go into the quantum mind medicine, we cannot stay in the realm of the old concepts of human medicine. We can't. We can't stay in the little pill. We can't stay in the little procedure. We need to go to the next level of humanity, health and wealth, and develop that from there, because it's okay to advance in the cell phone and car, but in our body, we stay the same for many, many years. For 300 years, 400 years, we're the same thing. It's only the next pill or the next procedure, but it says within the same conscious level. The same conscious level, because the awareness says only the pill or the knife. You must go to the next level and see that there is something there that will advance humanity, and you will be aware of it, and then he will come to his next level, consciousness level, in his health. Because everything else advanced, but his health. Yeah, it's okay that you can pull somebody to 80, 90, but on machines. That's not quantum mind medicine. That's maintaining sick people. Quantum mind medicine does not maintain sick people. It advances to their potential health. Regular medicine, which is great in certain areas of life, emergency and so on, stays in the same conscious level for over 300 years. Must leap to the next level. Must. And leaping to the next level, don't use the same tools, the same level of understanding of what it is. It's the next level in humanity. That's what we're bringing on by quantum mind medicine.
I see. Well, thank you, Dr. Dreamer. It was a pleasure as always. I already have questions for our next interview, so I'll see you soon.
Thank you.